quite some time, man.
It has.
Great to see you, man.
Likewise.
Radio Rahim here with none other than the Haymaker, David Haye, trying to make hay Saturday night.
Yep.
Listen, so as I watched the press conference unfold, the build-up for this fight, I wasn't at the first one. I regret that. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it between these guys that makes the blood so bad? Like, you know, and today I feel like I may have spotted it. And everyone's talking about Tony Bellew and David Haye, they hate each other. One hit the other. This guy pushes that guy. But I don't think that that's what it is for you. I felt like today it was David Haye versus David Haye. That maybe it's you trying to find out if you still got it and find the best David Haye out there maybe Saturday night.
Yeah, you're spot on there. It was, Tony Bellew, I don't believe, beats a healthy version of myself. I don't believe he's done anything in his career to suggest that he could beat any version of myself. He won a vacant WBC title. That's it. That's his resume. Full stop. One defense. That's it. Then gave that up to come and fight me. So I need to be on my best form. I know I'm 37 years of age, coming off big layoffs from injuries. So I know this is my last shot. This is my last chance. So I need to really and truly make sure that the best me turns up. I've brought in the best strength and conditioning coach, Ruben Sbarros, best boxing coach, Ishmael Salas. I've got the best team around me, but they don't get in the ring. They can just assist me in getting the best out of myself. I've got all these tools. I can jab, I can hook, I can throw straight punches, I can move, come forward, I can go back, I can do everything, but I've never been able to concisely put all of these elements together. Probably the last time I did that was many years ago. And in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've not been able to do that for one reason or another. Maybe injury, maybe mindset, maybe lifestyle, maybe you can pick and choose one or two, any reason. But right now, everything, the stars and moon have aligned, and I'm in a place where I'm 37 years old. I've gone through a whole training camp, and I'm standing here, and I'm in perfect shape. I'm healthy. I'm not masking any injuries. There's nothing that I'm worrying about. I'm firing on all cylinders, and this is something that I haven't had. Probably you got to go back to 2007, probably 2008 when I fought Enzo Maccarinelli to unify the cruiserweight division. You have to go that far back before a fight where I was in this form.
It surprised me a bit at the open of your answer when you said, "This is my final shot." You've had quite a bit of success as a fighter. To sort of consider this your final shot, I feel like, are you saying that if you can't beat Tony Bellew in this rematch,
what's it all about? What's it all
is
about?
that the end for David Haye? Was that the final chapter?
I think that you don't have to be a genius to work out. If I can't beat Tony Bellew, who's a good cruiserweight, WBC champion. If I can't beat him, then what possible aspirations have I got in the heavyweight division to do anything of any real note? And the answer would be zero. So the way I want to dispatch of Tony Bellew would be the same way you'd expect any top 10 heavyweight. You got to go from whether it's Joshua, Wilder, Ortiz, any of the top guys you can think of. How would they deal with a Tony Bellew? That's how I need to deal with him. They would, as far as I'm aware, they would play with him and take him out if and when they chose. And I believe that's how I need to perform on Saturday night. So you could say I'm putting a bit of pressure on myself, but I like pressure. I thrive on the pressure. What I don't thrive on is the anger that I came into the fight with the first time round. Had the wrong mindset, the wrong energy. It was just all off. It was just timing was wrong. It was just a horrible night all round. But as a result, people got to see some heart. They got to see me basically fighting on one leg for 5 rounds, and a lot of my harshest critics had to say, I've always hated you, David, but I respect how you hung in there. You didn't have to. You could have just said, you snapped your Achilles tendon in half. Here's my paycheck. I'll have a rematch. But I didn't. I'm in it for more than just a paycheck. I'm in it to prove I'm the best. And I still felt the whole way up to that fight I was going to win the fight, even in the 11th round when the towel came in from my corner. I still believed I was still going to find a way to win. I was still going to knock him out. And that's that fighting spirit that I don't think can be broken.
Fighters tend to believe that. True fighters, which you certainly are, always believe they can still win. They always believe they're maybe one shot away. But Father Time is the only truly undefeated man in boxing.
No doubt.
And when you talk about an injury late in the fight, that broke you down, and this focus in training camp maybe was an issue, taking your opponent lightly, all of these things, they tend not to happen to younger fighters. And there was a debate going on in the press conference as to whether a guy can get better as he gets older. If there's one thing that you feel has given you the opportunity on Saturday night to best Father Time, to beat the odds, and that most people believe fighters don't get better as they get older, how does David Haye become that guy that's able to accomplish that seeming impossible goal?
I think people need to realise the time out that I've had from the sport. After the Chisora fight, it was like 4.5 years out of the ring. Since the last fight, it's been 14 months. It's big gaps. But in those times, I wasn't taking punishment. And the fights I have had, I've got no wear and tear. Although I had injuries, there's been no damage to my brain. I've not taken big shots. I've not been in. Even the last fight with Tony Bellew, some would consider that a tough fight. Not for my brain, it wasn't. I didn't get hurt once. I wasn't rocked to my boots. I didn't have a concussion. I didn't have a headache. It wasn't. I didn't feel any of his punches. So I still feel fresh. Although the injuries that I've had have healed, and I feel like my old self again. And it's been a long time since that's been the case. And I remember Floyd Mayweather when he fought Canelo Alvarez. People were saying, he's getting old now. I think he's about 37, 38 at the time. And he put in his best performance. Marquez against Manny Pacquiao, knocked him out when he was like 40 or something. So you can put on your best performance as you get older because you have the experience, you know what works, and more importantly, you know what doesn't work to get you to the fight in best possible condition. And one of my favourite fighters of all time, George Foreman, showed that. At the tender age of 45, knocking out Michael Mora. So it can happen. And when all the odds are against you, when everyone's doubting you, as long as you know in your heart you've done what's required, you can do something special.
And before I let you go, when these gloves are finally hung up, whenever that happens for the last time, I expect to be seeing you sitting ringside, giving your analyst hat a little try on, as I'm sure you're apt to do. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the controversy that's going on between our two pawns. Yeah. Obviously, I'm speaking of Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Rate the two fighters for me, respectively, and who wins this fight?
I think they're both great fighters, both two young, hungry fighters who will fight anybody, and they've both proven that. Joshua, the fact he fought Joseph Parker, the fact he fought Vladimir Klitschko proves that he'll get in the ring of anybody. Wilder, obviously fighting Ortiz, shows he'll fight the guys that nobody else wants to fight. Whether that was his choice or whether there was not much else option out there remains to be seen. But you've got two heavyweights who can fight, two undefeated fighters who are very effective. I've sparred with many rounds with Deontay Wilder, and I know firsthand he's got some real pop in that right hand. I've never sparred with Joshua, but I know a lot of people who have, and they said the same thing. He can really bang. Just look at his resume. You're knocking out. The only person who's gone the distance is a young 26-year-old Joseph Parker, who was the WBO champion at the time.
So what do you figure edges the fight for one fighter or the other?
Experience-wise, you have to go with Joshua. The caliber of opposition that he's fought. Fighting Klitschko and Parker, I believe, surpasses anything that Wilder's done at this point. Just because he hasn't done it doesn't mean he can't do it. But at this point, you have to edge in terms of resume with Joshua, and the fact that Joshua's done it in such a short time frame and time period. He's fought on the big stage and the sold out football, soccer stadiums, and proven that he can handle the pressure. We haven't seen Wilder in a big huge fight yet. Maybe he will, but we don't know. So there's a few more unknowns with Wilder than there are with Joshua. Mm-hmm. But it's a fight that I don't think it's going to happen till maybe next year at some stage. But some fights need to be cooked up.
But who wins it, David?
I don't know.
In the ring?
I genuinely don't know. I've got no clue. I don't know. It depends. It could be over in the first punch. It could be because they're both such big punches. And Joshua's proven that he can get up from a heavy knockdown like he did against Klitschko. Wilder hasn't proven that yet. You've seen him shaky a few times, but he's always weathered the storm and come back. So there's more sort of answers with Joshua than there are with Wilder. But it's sort of pick and fight, whatever you like. Do you like the loose, wild, single punch stuff, or do you like the more textbook, neat and tidy punch variety from Joshua? I don't know. I think as time goes on, people will start having more of an opinion. But it's just literally it's a stab in the dark at the moment. Nobody really knows. People think they know, but nobody knows. Nobody really knows just yet. But the fact that people are talking about it is a good thing. The fact that people are excited about the heavyweight division and they're talking about two champions is a great thing for the sport. And I think maybe I just can't see it happening this year. No way. People keep saying the fact that things are getting said on the internet. I'll 50 million here. I'll give you 12. That means it isn't happening.
What's the proper split? You promoted yourself.
I've made multiple unification fights over the years, and none of it was done on social media. None of it was done in the public. It was done like this, around a table. Okay, this is what we're bringing to the table, what you bring to the table. These are my last few fights. This is what I generated in my last few fights. What did you generate in your last two fights? Okay, then we can then agree a split then.
What do you figure the proper split is for this one?
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what they brought to the table.
You have some idea.
I honestly, it's not my business to do business for both of those guys. But I think it will be done. Although it seems quite frustrating for the boxing fans, being in the sport, I know that all this is doing is building the pot. Whatever that pot of money is for them two guys to split or the two teams to split, this is just making it grow. So let's say the fight was worth 30 million. 3 months ago, it's now worth 40 million. And the longer it goes, the bigger it goes. But, look at the Mayweather and Pacquiao fight. That took years and years to happen. And when it did, it broke records. It broke box office records. And if it would have happened 5 years prior, it wouldn't have done. So sometimes fights need to marinate a little bit. But one thing I can guarantee, it won't be as unentertaining as the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. When the fight does happen, it'll be very, very exciting.
David Haye, you're wearing the revenge cap. On that billing out there, it says Bellew. Haye, you say this is the last.
Look behind you.
You've got your own personal.
Yeah, in this little room, in my little room, is Haye Bellew.
Fair play to you. What is it now? You say this is your last shot. Yeah. Why is David Haye still an A-side fighter? Why is David Haye still an active, possible champion in this sport? Tell these people that doubt you what it's really about.
Tuning in Saturday night, what you will see is something you haven't seen for many, many years. That's a fighter who's athletic, who's got speed, power, amateur pedigree, who's won multiple world titles in multiple weight divisions and can knock you out with just one haymaker.
Radio Rahim with the Haymaker. David Haye here in London. Can't wait to see this rematch Saturday night at the O2 Arena against Tony Bellew. Hey Bellew, Bellew Haye, however you see it. It's going to clash up on Saturday night, and I appreciate the time. Pleasure. Always the candor. No Radio Rahim with the Haymaker. David Haye.